Hello and welcome all back to Actual Play Swords Without Master Sunday morning speed runs. I am super excited to be back to this and find out. We've had characters change over the last couple games. Losa Water Walker is now Losa Realm Walker. Arahan changed his name as well. I know Josh will be really excited to say it loudly, so I won't give it away. This is, for folks who haven't been here before, these are our attempts to run speed runs Swords Without Master. We're shooting for 30-minute games. Last week we got a game just over 40, so we're working on it. We're getting there. I will be the host, and I'll be hanging out in the background, checking chat and writing in motifs and things like that. But otherwise, I'll just be watching these rad folks play their rad games.
Awesome. I'm Shell, she, her, and I'm so excited to be returning to the realm of sword and sorcery this week. Getting in there. I looked at some epic landscapes, saw some cool shit while I was traveling, and I can't wait to see what motifs emerge from my subconscious and how everybody bounces off them this game.
Hey, I'm Strash, he, him, and I am super geeked because Arahan died last time, and also Misha murdered my arch nemesis, Zanrasar the Black. So Arahan is no longer Arahan Fire-Haired, so we get to see actually like a full transition of character. I am now Arahan twice dead. So I'm excited to get my muscles on and go and have some sword and sorcery fun.
I'm Misha, she, her. Yes, Phaedra did get to murder people. It's fun. Phaedra's having fun as a murder bot. Yeah, so I'm excited. I haven't gotten to play anything in the last couple of weeks, so I'm jonesing. I need to fix.
Excellent. I'm Epi, he, him. I'm super looking forward to this. This past week, we actually somebody in the swords community on G Plus launched Discord Without Master, and it was kind of amazing to just constantly get notices from people doing pickup games of swords all week long. Definitely worth checking that out. But it got me. I was like, I didn't have time to do any of the pickup games, and I'm like, but this weekend. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Should we jump in?
Let's go for it.
All right. So hold on. I got to get my stopwatch out. I forgot to do that. I'm out of practice on the speed runs. All right. Gonna roll for my first overtone. Jovial, excellent. All right.
Epi, before you start the clock, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm messing with you up. Do you want everyone to introduce their characters just in case, or do you want to have them come out and play?
We'll do them classically, like the short, like a short story where we'll try and illustrate what's definitive about the character as we play.
Nice.
Yes. Thank you for asking.
I'm gonna restart the clock.
All right. All right. It is dawn, and the shallow sea has come alive. The shallow sea is a shallow sea, just brimming with giant crabs and giant snails, draped in kelp and whatnot. On the backs of all of these, there are villages that wander about on the backs of the giant crabs and snails that traverse the shallow sea. And they're sometimes attached to each other by impromptu bridges that they make by throwing lines across, and they do their trade back and forth that way. The three of you are currently trying to make your way across the shallow sea, but it is not the easiest form of navigation because you have no control over where a crab or snail that you're on is going, and you're sometimes going back and sometimes going forward. I need to give you a thunder. The thunder is that you're now getting to the depths of the shallow sea, where sometimes these crabs and snails, as large as they are, will fall beneath the tide, and people have to abandon their homes. You can actually see up ahead, like the tops of watchtowers that have been set up on the back of and people on the back of crabs, and people trying to escape through ladders and rafts and whatnot. We're doing a rogues phase, so I'm going to start with a demand. I am going to hand. Well, we're in water, so we're near water. I'm gonna hand them to Losa Realmwalker, and show us how you're aiding the villagers from the coming tide.
All right, so I roll first.
Absolutely.
Ooh, it's glum,
Yes.
but the overtone is jovial.
Yes.
So Losa has been really enjoying this visit to the shallow sea, but she didn't realize what an uncaring host it was. And upon seeing the seemingly utterly random way in which these people's lives just are washed away, should their host just wander a little bit deeper, she's somewhat, that sort of rage at something that you can't do anything about. So instead of feeling dramatic and actiony, she is very methodically weaving a raft out of strands of light and water that she's just pulling from the stars, pulling from the sea, pulling from the stars into this stretchy material that she's going to be throwing at just sort of like casting like a fishing net at the base of these towers as people are coming down into the water. And surprisingly, they're not just Losa, but anyone can now grab onto these nets. So,
Nice.
but her question to make, I have to make a request.
No, rogues phase.
So you make a demand.
Yeah.
Demand.
Yes.
So Losa's demand is, what is Phaedra doing to slow the unstoppable walk of that first large crab into the depths of the sea?
Ooh. Let's see. So let's roll.
I have to move the dice.
Okay, then roll first. Oh, you guys are so glum.
I know.
It's the glummest.
I mean, people are gonna drown here.
Yeah.
I
Bad
know.
news.
Cold and
People
wet.
aren't going to drown. People have already drowned.
Oh.
So Phaedra is taking this bits of this rope that Losa has woven, and is kind of grabbing the bodies and kind of binding them together and making this barrier out of bodies and ropes made of light, and stretching it across the in front of the crab so that it can't get too much past this. But we need more rope and we need more bodies, so we'll see what has to happen. So Arhan,
Yes.
what are you doing
Uh,
to
w-
keep the people on the backs of the crabs and snails as they're trying to hold on desperately?
wow, this got dark real fast.
Yeah.
Hang on,
the
I'm
dark.
trying to do the roll thing. Boop. Hey.
Yes.
Hey, jovial, finally.
I think what it is actually is so Arhan is no longer fire haired. He's got white hair and he's got appropriately darker armor. It's all black and furred. He's still got Rahosh, and he listens. He like tilts his head as if he's listening to the beast that sits on his shoulder, and then nods. And he actually wanders to a section of the crab, and there is barnacles and other sea life that has grown up there. And he takes out his blade, and for hours now, everyone has heard the sound of just like like a clanging as like metal meets chitin, and it creates a very unique noise that resonates throughout the crab in the village. And just as it looks like the dam is about to burst and the raft is starting to get complete, but it needs a little more time, there is a horrendous crack that to a creature of this size means nothing. But Arahan brings forward a giant piece of shell, and flipping it over, he creates like a dome of air under it so that like it actually floats a bit on the tide and provides kind of like a temporary island that people can put their kids and stuff on. And so he's got like a lot of the adults are like basically like floating and holding the edges, and he's got like kids and stuff on top, taking care of business. So
I might end the phase there. I think
okay.
that's great.
All right, that sounds great. Let's do it.
All right.
And of note, we are on to the second motif.
Yeah, already. All right. So we're glum now. Oh, good.
Oof.
All right. It is. Okay. It is at least a week later. It is nighttime. All of you are now becalmed with these villagers in the sea. Everyone is rationing the food that they have. I think it's, just like little, like separating grains and beans out that they've, traveled with. You would have fish as well, right? You are in the sea.
And crabs.
Yeah.
Perfect kelp for salad.
Yeah. But right now it's just the still water. You're on the, have the raft and the shell and all these bits have been kind of lashed together and nothing is happening. And the storm is that,
is it a literal storm?
I was thinking about that, but actually what I want to do, or sorry, not a storm, but the thunder. The thunder is, it is nighttime, the moons are out, and you keep seeing shadows against the moons, circling. All right. I am going to make this is a discovery phase. So right back at Arahan there.
Yes. I have an awesome discovery to make. Here we go.
Well, you should roll first. You might not make a discovery.
I'm looking for the dice right now. Here we go.
All right. You're jovial, and you're going to tell us what you should discover or know, and that you failed to do so, that we as the audience know.
Can I discover something but have a twist, like things I don't know about it?
Sure. I mean, because you could say this is a thing, and then.
All right, cool. So I think what happens is Arahan is going to go and talk to Losa and Phaedra, and I think what Arahan is going to say is Arahan says, "So I've talked to these villagers, but I do not know. They do not know exactly the place. So like I'm talking to the two of you because I know of a story that in the middle of the ocean there exists an ancient island. He doesn't know if it's on the back of a different beast, and he doesn't know exactly what its guardians are. Those are things that I haven't been able to discover. But I do know that there are large flying like lizards or like giant birds or something on there. And that once upon a time, like there's a story of my people from my village that we crossed this ocean. Those things. So he knows that it is somewhere to the north, but he doesn't know how to get to it, and he doesn't know what guards it has. But I do know that Losa has a small boat, not enough to carry all of these people, but enough to carry us there. And if we can tame some of those giant lizards, we might be able to get these guys off of that. So I'm going to pass the dice to Losa.
Well, you have to ask me a loaded question. Yes.
So I guess the pointed question here is, Epi, what do I not know about the guardians of this island?
Yes. Yeah. All right. So this is stuff that we as the audience know that your characters will not know. What don't you know about the guardians of this island?
Are there wizard whales?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Wizard.
no,
Wizard
not
whales.
yet. There will be wizard whales eventually because I'm here. But what you don't know is that the guardians of this island are preparing for a once-in-the-century rite, which requires sacrifices of obscene magnitude. So, good. Yeah, go ahead and pass the dice to someone. I want to see another discovery.
Take it away, Alyssa. You're our seafarer or boat farer. I don't know. River farer. Realm walker. Go.
So Losa has to discover something. So I have to roll.
Yes.
And
all right. So, the original one was like we were glum. We had a tie, so that became jovial. Now we're back to glum.
Okay.
All right. And again, you're just going to do something that you should know, but you don't. And you can ask me a loaded question about it.
Okay.
And we can't advance time, so you could discover this like on the way there. Or
Yeah. So we're in Losa's boat, and the boat still, whenever it appears now, it appears from the realm of the unsettled dead. So it does indeed have a little bit of a smell. Not an ocean smell, a smell that reminds you of crypts. And so in our crypt scented boat, we are a craft. We are traveling towards this island, and Losa is pondering the stories that Arahan had said, and trying to remember. As Losa Waterwalker, she had known intimately the map of all the waterways of this realm, and she can't remember this island, and so she's trying to put that together with what Arahan's knowledge is and solve this mystery, but she cannot work it out. So my loaded question for you, Epi, is why is this island not in Losa's memory?
Oh, yeah, okay. Okay, this island, we're glum. The island is not in Losa's memory because this is the one place you were never meant to go to. Of all the worlds everywhere, you were not meant to go here. So they hid it from you. I am going to end that phase there.
Okay.
Sorry about that, Phaedra.
Oh, no. That's a perfect place to end that one. A place that Losa is not meant to go.
All right. So I am glum again. Good. I'm going to do a rogues phase. We're going to have you now on this island. The thunder is you've come upon this island, and it's it's got a high mountain. It's surrounded by lush forests. Your raft pulls up on the shore, and each of you gets off. And when Losa steps on the shore, a bell in the distance rings, like a peal of a giant bell, but far in the distance, which sends a shiver down everyone's spine. That is your thunder. And now for a demand. Phaedra, show us how you tame one of these giant flying beasts to go retrieve the villagers.
Oh, so rogue's phase?
Yes,
Yeah.
So roll first.
Hey, I'm jovial. I am super jovial.
Excellent. We could use a little of that.
Right? So we've been plodding along on the backs of these beasts, and we've still got the rope. So Phaedra's tired of crab and fish and the seaweed, and she sees one of these things flying overhead and just reaches down and makes a little loop with that rope that's woven from starlight and shadow, and just kind of flings it, lassos one of them around the neck, pulls it down, and pull herself up enough that she can swing onto the back of it, and just kind of grabs a hold of that rope and just holds it, just riding it, and tries to steer it, using the rope to steer until she can get enough of it, enough control to swoop down and pick up Arhan. So Arhan.
Are we abandoning Losa on the island? She was never supposed to go.
Not yet.
Rad. Oh, okay. All right, Rad. Yes, sure. Yeah, I clasped your arm as you fly nearby, and I'm swooped up.
I wouldn't do that. But Losa has not yet set foot on the island, correct?
Just
No,
touched
she
it
did.
once.
Yeah.
Oh, did you touch it and then be like, whoa? All right.
I didn't like that bell.
Yeah, nobody likes that bell.
Yeah,
All right.
likes that bell. So Losa, tell us, what happens when you end up on the back of this flying beast.
All right. Well, it's jovial, so that bodes entertaining. So Losa, seeing Arhan and Phaedra on this flying beast, is not going to miss out on the fun, and sort of glittering with the starlight lasso that's been dropped, shimmies up it to the beast's neck, and just as she's about to swing onto the back, the beast turns its head down, and its fanged, beaked mouth sort of opens, and you can see a snake tongue come out and smell the air around Losa, and there is a marked shift in its opinion of what's going on. So very quickly, it notices not just Losa, but Phaedra and Arhan on its back. And its neck is not quite long enough to actually tear you off its back, but it is now writhing in the air, attempting to disengage all of us. And it's letting out a cry. It's the same note as that bell, but it's a lizard cry. And that's how that went. So,
nice.
Arhan, tell us how you calm the beast, or tell us how you calm the beast before we all die.
I like the stipulation there. That adds some
preferably
some stakes
before we all
here.
die.
Well, first,
Yes.
this is going to be super interesting if it's Glum.
Or stymie. Oh, good.
No, it's jovial. So I think we're going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. Actually, I think it begins to writhe, and we start tumbling and everything. And Arhan does not have the grace of Phaedra, who is a blade dancer, and does not have the magic of Losa to tie herself with starlight strands to things. So his actions are a combination of raw strength. His mind harkens back to his early days as a lad in his village, learning how to tame the riding beasts of the plains, and he uses that knowledge, right? He's cocked his head and again is listening to his companion, right? But is leaps, catches onto it's not a shell, a scale. Yes, catches onto a scale and then grabs onto a tuft of fur, because there are furred lizards in this world, of course.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Of course.
And is actually hand over handing, sort of clutching and leaping, leaps and vaults off of a claw, and eventually gets close to the region where there are holes that are ears for this beast. And he takes off his companion and places him in there, and it's the unheard voice of the sacred beast of the temple that tames this lizard. Epi, are you ending the phase? Because I've got a question for you.
You can end the phase, yeah. I mean, anyone can end the phase.
No,
so.
If nobody's ending the phase, I have a question for Epi. Epi, I'm passing the dice to you as the overplayer, and I'm making a demand. Show us how the island reacts when we take one of its children.
Right. Okay, good. So, hand me those dice. So I'm glum. I don't roll. I'm so they cry. It's let me see here. I think so you're okay. You're flying out across the becalmed ocean towards the villagers to bring them to the safety of the island. And as you're doing that, I think it because the rush of the wind in the air and the everything around you that's keeping you from hearing it, you still hear faintly in the background just the wailing of all the other beasts in it. But it's just like underneath everything, and it's hard to hear. So you don't take heed of it, because that's important. I'm ending that phase then. And I'm rolling again. Oh God, we're so close here. All right, I'm jovial. We're gonna have a party. It
What
is
a doubt.
after a day and a half of back and forth on this beast, dragging with your starlit ropes the various rafts and whatnot. You've collected everybody on the island. While you were going back and forth doing this, obviously people on the island were running about, gathering up fruits and animals in there, creating a big feast. Everybody's setting things up. There's giant roaring fires. This is great. I mean, because there's wood on this island, and wood is not a thing that they get often. So a giant roaring fire is a sign of opulence, and they are tremendously happy to be here. And of course, the thunder is that in this big celebration with all these fires and all this food resplendent, it's like this nighttime where you can't see past where the party is. And because you can't see past where the party is, you don't see the 100-foot tall shadows that are starting to loom over all within. All right, so that's your thunder. What kind of phase do I want to make this? I am going to make this a perilous phase. We haven't done one yet.
Perilous.
So I'm going to hand the dice to one of you. I'm going to hand them to Phaedra. All right. So not only have you used one of the giant flying beasts to bring these people to this island, but they have also, these people have killed something that looks much like a giant armored boar, right? Because this island's filled with weird beasts with half lizard, half mammal situation. Oh, and it's got it's got talons instead of feet. And they're roasting it. And while they're in the middle of roasting it, you're standing around, salivating, ready for it. Because you're all jovial, you're enjoying this. A similar but slightly larger boar comes running out of the brush and comes flying into the crowd, knocking villagers aside, with these saber-like fangs, cutting people down as it comes heading towards the cooks that are over the fire, which is where you are. All right, so you this is the perilous phase you rolled to interrupt me, so I'm just going to keep going with some danger. All right, Phaedra, you're on one side of the fire. You can see this. It is behind Losa. Losa, presumably you're distracted by this feast or whatever else is going on at the brilliant display. Tell us a little bit about what you're up to while you're not seeing this thing.
So Losa is starving. It's been a busy day. There's this amazing roast on the fire. these people seem to love fire almost as much as she does. So finally, a community that worships light. So she's doing very small little fire tricks and getting enormous amounts of adulation and applause. And this is her dream. She's just loving it, and in no way is she paying any attention to anyone else.
So yeah, while she's doing that, you can just see this silhouette shadow of this boar get larger and larger behind her as it's trembling for her. I'm gonna have it hit her. It's gonna just hit her right in the back.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to roll. It's just not letting me. There it goes. Glumly.
Oof.
And it's going to have an unintended consequence, which you are allowed to come up with, but you don't have to. You can let me do it, or we can ignore it if you reincorporate something, because we are in fact in the end game.
Okay, so that's gonna be group. Okay, so yeah, we'll incorporate that. So Phaedra sees this thing kind of running towards them, and she like that kind of slip that she does where she just kind of manages to just slide and be right in front of the right place at the right time. She does, and then she yanks that rope that's connected to that barrier of corpses and just pulls it right in front so that the boar plows into that barrier instead of us. Unfortunately, like bits and pieces of corpses kind of go flying and kind of ruin dinner.
That's what we're worried about. Okay.
Sorry.
Roast beef.
I know dinner's ruined. It's kind of covered in, ew.
So did you reincorporate that first motif? Is that what you're intending?
Yeah, the barrier, corpses, and rope.
Nice. All right. So you can hold on to the dice. You can hand them over to one of the other two whenever you want. The next person to reincorporate ends this game. Oh, right. That's when I'm going to come in with all of my thunder. This is the, these giant arms come down, these giant stone arms come down and just put up their own barrier around, these, around where the camp is to keep people from running out. So, because people are obviously trying to get away from the boar and all of this, the boar and all of its gore. These giant, it's hard to tell if they're stone or they're just wearing armor of stone, but they're just these giants here. And the first one steps into the clearing and it drags behind it a huge spear made from like a tree that is, an old and ancient tree. It's gnarled and crooked. And on the end of this, the spear is this giant spearhead, and it swings it out across the crowd. I'm gonna keep going. Just cuts through villagers, cutting an arc in the sand, which is running red with rivulets of all the blood. And it brings it up on top of it, and it comes to bring it down on.
I'm rolling.
Okay, because it's coming for you.
It's super glum. Okay.
It's
Losa. Yeah, Losa can see that this is not about the villagers. This is not about Phaedra or Arhan. Losa has sensed that the mystery of this island was sinister and feels now that it's personal. And knowing that, in her heart, she can't let anyone else die at the hands of this island's monstrosity. And so she does what any good rogue would do, and she pulls all of the light out of the fire and throws it to the rafts, trying to guide everyone as far away as possible, creating almost a route, a path of light from the fire to the rafts, being like, these people love this and they need to go that way. Trying to guide them around these stone arms, these stone beasts that is coming for her, and then accepting her fate as the nemesis of this island, and leaping into battle with this stone beast.
Nice.
So I'm gonna pass that over to Arhan.
All right.
Oh, did you reincorporate something? Did we terminate or?
We did get the starlight back again.
All
Would
right.
you like to reincorporate the starlight?
It's totally up
So-
to you.
yeah.
I will roll immediately and incorporate something if we need to.
I think I kind of like ending it on a cliffhanger.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure if that was
Okay.
cool.
Yeah, let's do it.
That's good.
That's why I wanted to say, like, if you wanted to end it on a cliffhanger, we call it here, and heck, we could have episode 2, the Island of the Giants or whatever.
Right.
All right, we're calling it.
All right.
Oh, time.
Boom. 31 minutes and 45 seconds.
I have 43 seconds, Epi.
Oh, God.
Oh no, we're gonna quibble over seconds, dude.
No, it becomes 44.
Yeah,
That's
44.
as per our agreement.
Okay.
31 minutes. All right. So excellent. Which one? I'm sorry. Which one did you reincorporate the starlight with? Oh, right, and the island hidden from Destiny. Yeah, that works. The second motif.
Yeah,
definitely. Excellent. All right. Yeah. How we doing?
That was really fun.
I'm super excited about this. That we did a 31:44 seconds.
Right?
This is.
I'm really impressed that we did it, and I wonder if some of that speed was from not having the morals or mysteries.
Yeah, I think not having to figure out morals is by not having to have those roles kind of probably sped it up a tiny bit.
Well, I mean, then the lesson here is that we have to roll better. I mean,
Fair point.
Honestly, I feel like some of it is a combination of two things. The first is we're getting punchier in the rogues phase, like show us a thing you do, show us a thing you do. Okay, end
Yeah.
phase. And then the other thing is that we had a very clear discovery phase that immediately gave us like a direction and a purpose. And also, I think everybody is just like dropping some motifs here, like just
Yeah.
villages on crabs, giant piles of corpses with woven rope. You know, so
I think
yeah.
we're also settling into these characters too, and so we
Yeah.
kind of have an idea of, all right, this is what this person would do.
Yeah, it's getting a little easier with not having that like long think as much. It's
Yeah.
sort of being like, okay, I know how this character would respond. I don't know about everyone else, but I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with the glum and jovial tones this
Yeah.
session. I
Yeah.
feel like I'm grokking it more.
yeah.
So
I while we were playing, I gotta say, I just kept looking over at my stopwatch, going, "Oh, are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do this? We're so
Is it
close."
gonna happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. Captain Crits has a great idea that I think we should think about for next, not for this intermission because we're just about to do it, but for next session about having a lore phase during the intermissions.
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about that. See if we can add in more phases.
Yeah.
But
It's actually pretty cool because they get to kind of come up with a plot for us, sort of, to look into, and it's a cool way to incorporate the audience, I think.
Yeah.
yeah.
That sounds
I think
good to me.
that's solid. We will work it. We'll figure out how we can work that out. So if we can. So awesome. We're gonna take a break and then we'll come back to find out what happens on the island. Right?
Yeah.
We got the answer to this cliffhanger. I could see in a really rude storyteller fashion if you're just like, no, we're just gonna cut to a totally
Yeah.
different story, and then like some other time we'll tell you what happened to that.
We never finished it.
Yeah. The writer just got bored. He's like, yeah, I don't know. What do you think happened?
Maybe like go back to an adventure from like 3 years ago. Never resolve this.
Yeah. All right. We'll be back in 5. See you all
Mhm.
soon.